Hey Chris, it's Pete over at Question Christ. I've been watching your videos tonight, and I just want to say before I start anything that I am extremely, extremely sorry to hear what happened to you today. Whatever that dude's about, he should definitely be held to the fullest account of the law. And I am glad to know that you were not hurt terribly, which you really could have been, or killed. I also very glad that your wheelchair was not damaged that much. I have worked with the mentally disabled and physically disabled in the past and worked around wheelchairs, and I know how expensive those things can be. So considering everything that has happened, it seems like you came out on the good end of things pretty much, except that you're pretty shaken up and pretty angry, which you should be, and it's terrible what's happened. As well as you should be upset about any kind of death threats you are getting. I mean, it's just ridiculous to be doing that to you, no matter how you feel. Now, I watch your videos regularly, and most of the time I am absolutely 100% against everything you're saying. But regardless, that's no reason for violence. So please understand that I am genuinely sorry for what's happened to you, and that I hope that this person gets what he's got coming to him, and I'm very glad that you're okay. Now that I've said that, and I'm hoping that you can hold on to that, because that is genuine, that is something that I feel, but I have to take issue with some of the things you've been saying regarding if this person was a true Christian or not. So by definition, with being a Christian, you're supposed to be a Christ follower, someone who is trying to follow what Jesus was teaching. Okay, if you have an atheist who comes to you and says, hey, I'm an atheist, but I believe Jesus is the Son of God, you'd be like, you're not an atheist. Well, sure I am. I call myself an atheist, but I got this thing about Jesus. I think he's the real deal. You'd be like, by definition, you are not an atheist. Now, that's why I think you see some Christians coming on here, and it's not that we're disowning Christians who act badly. That's not it at all. What it is that the idea that someone would try to run you off the road and say they're a Christian, I don't see how that adds up. So again, if we're supposed to be following Jesus as Christians, following Christ as Christians, then we have to follow what he says by definition. And so by definition, I wanted to go over some things that Jesus said. There's plenty of stuff, and I'm going to put it in the link box over here. Plenty of doctrine in the Bible that clearly states that you are not to be vengeful or retaliatory or attack people that don't believe what you believe. It's very clear. I'm going to put that link up. I can't go through all of them, but I do want to go over a few things, because a lot of times people will say, well, that's what Paul said, or that's what Timothy said, or what about what Jesus said? Well, let's talk about what Jesus says. In Matthew chapter 5, verse 21, he says this: "You have heard that it was said to those of old, 'You shall not murder, and whoever murders will be in danger of the judgment.' But I say to you that whoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment." So right there, he's not saying, hey, you know what, if you don't kill anybody, you're all good. But if you hold this hatred in your heart all the time, that's as bad. So that's what Jesus said. Jesus also said in Luke chapter 6, I tell you, at verse 27, I tell you who hear me, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, and pray for those who mistreat you. If anyone hits you on one cheek, let him hit the other one too. If someone takes your coat, let him have your shirt as well. Now, granted, you didn't hit anybody, but if you had affronted someone, that is a lot less than hitting someone. So this person, whoever it is, should not anywhere come near attacking you if they were a Christian trying to follow what Christ said. Then there's the story about when Jesus was betrayed by Judas, and Judas comes with the chief priest's guards to arrest him. And what happened there? One of Jesus's posse tries to take things into his own hands. Matthew 26, verses 50 and 52. Then they came up, took hold of Jesus, and arrested him. At that moment, one of those with Jesus reached out his hand and drew his sword. He struck the high priest's slave and cut off his ear. Then Jesus told him, "Put your sword back in its place, because all who take up a sword will perish by a sword." So I know you're angry, and I know you're angry at Christians. And if you're living in like a Bible Belt kind of area and someone is going to a church and by definition believes in Jesus, he can be saved of his sins. But that does not mean that he is not trying to repent from things. He's actively following against what Jesus teaches. So I think that's why people say that he might not be a true Christian. And I agree with you. I don't like to judge people's hearts, and I don't even know what this guy's all about. I would like to hear more about how you know where this guy goes to church, because there was a video you made a while back. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but you put up a whole bunch of quotes from supposed Christians, and I was angered by it, not from you, but from thinking that these people who are Christians are doing a disservice to you, and also being very bad representatives of Christ. Now, before I go any further, I know that there are plenty of Christians out here who are not acting Christian-like, and for anyone who's watching this who is a Christian, we need to shape up with that, okay? We need to shape up with that. We need to start being salt and light in this world, okay? But some of the quotes that you made from these people who are supposed Christians, I went and checked their sites, and I saw no reference to them being Christian. Just because they made fun of you and that you are an atheist does not make them a Christian. And so I'm not doubting that you know this guy goes to a church, and I'm not saying that he is not a Christian. I do have some experience with the Bible Belt, and I know, and I think you know too, that people who are in certain areas of the country, it's like you have to go to church. Whether you're a true Christian or not, you just need to go to church because that's a cultural thing. So there's plenty of cultural Christians, and I think that's one of the reasons why people say, is he a true Christian? Because there are plenty of cultural Christians who just go because that's the thing you got to do in the South or in the West or wherever you are. So anyway, I don't know what this dude's about, but I can honestly say that as a Christian, I am outraged if he was a Christian. Just like I'm outraged by these guys who are out in Kansas who supposedly are Christians, and they're going around saying, God hates fags and all this. I mean, that is just nothing what Jesus taught. So again, how can you be Christian? How can you be promoting supposed Christianity when it isn't Christianity? It's not what the text says. It's not what Jesus taught. It's not what Paul taught. It's not what any of these people taught. So, again, with all respect, I am terribly sorry of what happened to you. But this person is not acting in a Christian manner. And so this is not what Christianity is all about. And again, I hope you're feeling better. I hope you're not too sore tomorrow. And would love to hear what you have to say. God bless you. And I'll talk to you soon.